Hey everyone! Today I want to talk about a really powerful event that happened recently, the Vigil for Hind Rajab. This gathering wasn't just about honoring her memory. It was about standing up against the ongoing violence and oppression many face today. So let's dive into what happened, how it all unfolded, and why it's so important for us to reflect on this.
So, Hind Rajab, she was a young woman whose tragic death really shook the community. I mean, it's heartbreaking to think about how many lives are lost due to violence. We have to remember these victims not just as names or statistics, but as real people with dreams and families. It's crucial to keep their stories alive, you know. It reminds us of the urgency to address these issues head-on. The vigil took place at Zuccotti Park, a space that's become synonymous with activism and gathering for a cause. People came together, laying down candles, sharing art, and recounting memories of Hind. It was, like, this beautiful yet somber atmosphere. People were united, but the weight of what they were there for was heavy. There was this palpable sense of grief mixed with hope, and I could feel it in the air. It's just, like, so moving to see people come together for something so meaningful. But, of course, not everyone was supportive. There were counter-protests, particularly from a group called Betar US. They've got a history that's pretty contentious, and their rhetoric against the Vigil attendees was just intense. It's hard to comprehend how some can react with such hostility when people are just trying to honor a life lost.
I mean, come on, can't we just have a moment of peace? Heckling and intimidation were reported by those who attended the vigil, which is just, like, so disheartening. People were there pouring out their hearts, and then they faced backlash for it. I can only imagine the emotional toll that took being vulnerable in a space meant for healing, only to be met with aggression. It really makes you think about what people are willing to do to silence dissent.
Like, why can't we just share our stories without fear? And this brings up a bigger conversation about free speech. There are so many advocates out there who are worried about how political rhetoric is impacting our ability to speak out.
It feels like there's this constant tension between wanting to express ourselves and the fear of repercussion. How did we get here? It's frustrating, but it's also a wake-up call for all of us. We also need to talk about the implications of conflating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. It's dangerous, and it's affecting how activism is perceived and carried out. We need to be able to critique policies without being labeled as hateful.
It's crucial for our movements to be inclusive and understanding.
I mean, can we all just agree that fighting for justice shouldn't be a divisive issue? As for the legal side of things, there are definitely potential challenges to Trump's executive orders regarding speech.
It's important to remember our First Amendment rights. These rights are not just words on a page. They matter. Especially when we're talking about political speech, we need to protect that.
So, reflecting on all of this, it's clear that solidarity is more important than ever. When we stand together against oppression, we create a force that's hard to ignore. We have to keep our eyes open and our hearts engaged.
And, honestly, even in difficult times like these, I find a bit of gratitude. Because, witnessing people come together in solidarity is a reminder of the good in humanity. It gives me hope that change is possible.
I really encourage all of you to stay aware and support human rights activism. Every little action counts, whether it's educating yourself, sharing resources, or just being there for someone who needs it. Let's keep this conversation going. If you found this helpful or resonated with any part of it, please hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts or any experiences you've had.
Thanks for listening, and let's keep pushing for a world where everyone's voice can be heard.